this video, we will create a C project using the compiler libc. To start, just open it, click File, and then New, and Source File. And I'm writing now the first line of the code, and I'm starting with a hash or pound sign, include then stdio.h within angular bracket. Things are case sensitive here. Make sure you write everything in lowercase letter. This line is saying that I want to use the functionalities of a C library that we call standard input and output library. .h means it is a header file rather than a source file. The main function is most important. This defines the point at which your program starts to execute. And I'm coded here int main. Int here means that the function will return integer. Right now, there is nothing inside the parentheses, but inside the parentheses, you define what all the functions will accept inside it. Whatever is in between the opening brace and the closing brace is the body of the function. And I have here main menu function, and later on I'm going to create a function for it. And the next statement will be return 0 for any other functions that is defined to return integer. If you would not have an explicit return statement like this, you will get error, but for main functions, even if you will skip writing this return 0, your program will work. This time, I'm going to define a function for main menu, and main menu here is defined as void. Indicate that the main menu function will not return any value. For main menu function is called a main function. Now I've defined main menu as void. Then I'm going to copy this line of code and paste it below main function and create a function for it. This project has a relation to a food ordering system wherein main menu provides here an option to select and order snack. In this code line is a variable declaration int select. This will allow the user to key in or input number 1 to go to customer section, and number 2 to go to about the project, and number 3 to go to exit. Scanf function will read the value from the user input and pass or place it to a variable select. And we are now in decision statement wherein the arguments here, if function select is equal to 1, the body of the functions of if will execute and to call the functions of customer. Else if select is equal to 2 or the user input value is 2, then the body of the functions of else if will execute and to call the functions of about the project. else f select is equal to 3, then the body of the function of else f will execute and to call the function of exit, displaying the text statement saying thank you, feeling hungry, time to snack. Customer here doesn't have the function and yet not defined as a function, and leaving it as a function will cause an error during compilation. Meanwhile, I'm going to insert this customer to printf function as a string literals for running and compilation purposes. Another is about project in else f select is equal to 2, same process in f select is equal to 1. Exit was not declared in this scope, and exit is not the functionalities of stdio.h. To call exit, stdlib.h or standard library must be included. To test, press F11 to compile and run. You can also test all the expressions by running the program again and again to check whether the expression executes correctly.
What we do here is go back.
Get function within F waits for any character input from keyboard. It does not show up on the screen, and its declaration is in conio.h header file. By pressing any key during runtime, it calls and returns the function of main menu. And later on, we will see how it works. Get was not declared in this scope. To call the functionality of get, we must include conio.h or console input-output function. This time we can now check all the test expression without closing the program. For example, I'm going to key in here number 1 to call and to execute customer section, and number 2 to call and execute about project, and number 3 for exit. That is how fget function works. I'm adding here system function. It is used to invoke or implement an operating system command from a C program. These functionalities include in stdlib.h or standard library, and I use here CLS within double quote. That is used to make the screen or terminal clear, and later on we will see how this function works. This is how get function and system function CLS works. This time, I'm going to create a function for customer, not a string literals in printf function, but rather to call its function of its own. Customer here is defined as void, and I'm going to copy this code and paste it below to build its own function. Customer function covers different functions such as customer order, view recent order, and back to main menu. And we can access all this during runtime by calling first customer functions in main menu. I'm writing here variable declaration and C. Scanf reads the value from the keyboard and pass the value through variable C, which holds the address of operator. Next is the decision statements, and the decision statement must start with an if statement, and I have here fc is equal to 1. If the user input 1, then this test expression is evaluated through, and during runtime, order snap will execute. Else fc is equal to 2. If this test expression is evaluated through or during runtime, the user will input value of 2. This test expression will execute, or to call the function of view order. Else fc is equal to 3. This function is to call the function of back to main menu. Else statement. Whenever the value input from the keyboard has no corresponding test expression in else decision statement, then else body of the function will execute. Displaying wrong input, kindly input the correct option. And in order for the user to continue, it calls the function of customer. Then of course to input the right value. Osnack here has no function yet. To check every text expression whether it is correct, I'm inserting osnack and printf function as a string literal because leaving it without the function is an error, and also this view order, and that's it. Meanwhile, I'm inserting here get a function to continuously check all the test expression in this customer function. This time, let's execute and call the function of customer section, then check all its test expression, then back to main menu, execute about project, then exit. In customer section, 1 is for order snap, then the value of 2 is for view order, and 3 is back to main menu. And in main menu, number 2 is about the project, and number 3 is exit, and that's it. I'm inserting here a loop. To do that, we have first variable declaration and a right here in load. Then I use here for loop. It is a repetition control structure that allows you to efficiently write a loop that needs to execute a specific number of times. Load is my control variable and its starting value is 0. The final value of control for which the condition is true is less than or equal to 5000 and increment of load. And it has a body of the function printf function, and I use here \r, that is carriage return to execute loop within the same position. Present d to call for a type integer and display the result of load quotient. From 0, increment by 1 until a specific condition is met. Let's test how this for loop works. That is how for loop works. It counts start from 0 until the specified condition is met before to call the other function. This time, let's create a function for osnap, not just string literal and printf functions, and And I'm going to define it here osnac as void. And let's copy this line of code and paste it below here. Okay. And I'm now starting to create a function for osnac. Let's start with the functions with the variable declarations, and I write here int choice, int again, and int quantity.
What we do here is go back.
I have only two options for my menu, or you may also add some more options for your menu. As you notice here, it's expected to input only number. For example, for fries, you have to input number 1, and for burger, you have to input number 2. As you can see in my variable declaration, I only use one data type, and that is integer. This time I'm working with file handling, although you may or may not include in this program, because here I only have two options for my menu, but it is efficient if you have a lot of options for your menu. Thus, you will no longer write it in printf function, rather to call the file name by showing up its content, specifically your menu. And I have here SN key menu pointer of a type file with the assigned file handling operation fopen. This fopen is intended for creating a new file menu.text as what I have right here. And the next parameter is the mode in letter RT, meaning to read the file in text mode. fgetC function with an infinite while loop is used to read a character from the current position of the pointer. The pointer now moves one place ahead so that it points the next character. The character which was read by the fgetC is assigned to variable b, and then the loop has to break at the end of file. Or in case of any error, otherwise EOF is returned. Here comes the body of the function, and after reading the file, we have to close it, and I'm writing here fclose. our pointer SN key menu. This time, let's continue the function of osnack. If f function choice is equal to 1, this test expression is for price. And if this test expression is evaluated true, then the body of f function will execute. Total here has the assigned value that is equivalent to total, and the price of the price that is 50 times the possible quantity. How about if the customer will order again? This time we're going to call the snap function to display its content and to repeat the order. Else f function again is equal to 2. This test expression is to get the grand total purchased by the customer. To save this record for any purposes, or for example for inventory purposes, again we need to work with files. And I declare here a pointer ttl of a type file. And ttl here is assigned to create a new file. Fopen, that is order the text specifically in text. Before we can read or write information from or to a file on the hard disk, we must open the file. The second argument is a mode in letter A, meaning open for append. Data is added to the end of the file. You can use fprintf on a file just like you might on a console with printf. Fprintf function is used to write a set of characters into file, particularly the grand total of the customer. Fprintf function sends formatted output to a stream. When we say stream, it is a logical entity that represents a file or device that can accept input or output. Then this file should be closed after reading or writing. This time, after appending, our data is added to the end of the file. And this time I'm going to copy the body of the function of f statement and paste it below here. But before that, I'm going to create another test expression. Else f function choice is equal to 2. This test expression is for burger, and if this test expression is evaluated true, then the body of this else f choice is equal to 2 will execute. I'll fix some error here. For fries, it must be 50, and for burger, it must be 70. Temporarily, I'm calling here a snap function to continue the ordering transaction during runtime. And later on, we will see how it works. You can also add some option here for your menu such as drinks and so on. If the test expression of else f choice is equal to 3, if this test expression is evaluated true, then it calls the customer function. Whenever there is no corresponding value in its test expression, else statement will execute, displaying wrong input, re-enter the correct option. Because I call here osnap function, this will direct you during runtime to start ordering and to input the right value. Just press F11 to run and compile the program, and oops, some error appeared. Okay, let's check how it works. For example, I will input here 1, and that is for customer sections, and in customer sections, I have here order snack, new order, and back to main menu. Let's check the order snack. Okay, so this area is for customer order, and I have here price and burger. I input here 1, so that is for price, and then the next is press 1 to order again, and press 2 to get your total. I'm inserting here a new function, that is customer detail or C details, and to do that we have to define it here, C details as void. This time I'm going to copy this definition and paste it below and create a function for it. Customer detail or C details include first name, last name, and phone number. And this function is called in osnac function, specifically in f choice is equal to 1 and else f choice is equal to 2. The data type of the variable phone here is long this time I'm working again with file handling for cdetail or customer details, and I have here a pointer that is cost of a type file. And in creating a file, it must of course first to open, but this time I'm just opening an existing file that I used earlier. In nested f as f statement again is equal to 2 in osnac or order snack functions, and I use letter A as my mode, meaning open for append or data is added to the end of the file. And what data? That is using fprintf function, those data to be append is customer first name, the last name, and phone number. Just press F11 to run and compile the program. This time we are executing C details or customer detail by inputting its data, first name, last name, and phone number. And this data will be appended or added to the file name order.txt. After opening a file, it is expected that the file must be closed, and I'm writing here if close, what must be closed? Of course, that is a pointer cost of a type file. This time I'm calling a function for about the project. Then I'm going to copy this and paste it to define as about project void. To view customer order, again, we're going to work with file handling. And I have here pointer border of a type of file. And before that, of course, we have first the variable declaration character b or char b. Pointer border here has assigned file handling operation f open to open order.text of file name with a mode r that is open for reading. Order.text is an existing file. This order.text that I used already, and it also not a function to append the grand total purchased by the customer, and in customer details to append customer first name, last name, and phone number. Press F11 to run and compile the program. This time, let's check the view order. And the file name order.text includes the customer order, its customer first name, last name, phone number, and here also include the grand total. Here is the content of the file name order in text type. Includes the grand total, its first and last name, and a phone number. To continue this project, you may add some options for your menu. Add functions to calculate the sales within a specific date or to add cashier section and so on. Somehow it depends upon the needs or preferences of the user. Also kindly take up this time to like this video, subscribe my channel, and kindly don't forget to hit the bell icon for more updates. Thank you.